All right, we are back. Welcome back, fam. Welcome back to the stream. We are live, and looks like we're going to be all right. Looks like we're going to be all right, folks. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Average Joe Crypto in the building, or AJC. Today is a big macro day. The FOMC minutes dropping very soon, any minute now, and the market's been waiting to see how Jerome Powell and the Fed are really feeling behind the scenes. We're going to break it down, talk crypto, and figure out what it means for our trades going forward and for our bags. So quick recap. This is going to be for what the minutes is actually going to be inside the minutes here. These are actually the minutes from the July 29th and July 30th meeting. That's when the Fed held rates steady at 4.25% and 4.5%. But remember, two members actually dissented, calling for tighter policy. Inflation's still sticky, the labor market's cooling, and markets are already betting heavy on a rate cut in September, like 85% odds right now. So what the minutes actually might include? Well, let's go ahead and look back on what happened in the previous meeting. They're watching inflation close, not fully convinced that it's under control, though. Labor market showing cracks, but not falling apart. Some still argued against cutting too soon. And the real takeaway, the Fed is split. But September's shaping up to be a pivot moment, and we need to watch it closely. Now, how will the markets take it? Well, if you read this as a dovish outlook, equities and bonds like it, crypto catches a bid. If you read it as a neutral outlook, chop until Powell speaks tomorrow at the Jackson Hole. And if you read it as hawkish, we could see stocks dip, yields spike, dollar up, and risk assets like Bitcoin and crypto down. And so that's what we're going to be taking a look at here today. We're going to be watching the markets. We're going to be taking a look at the price action live here as we also stay up to date with the FOMC minutes live as it takes place here in the next few minutes, guys. We will take a look at Dogecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin while we are listening in on Jerome Powell. So Bitcoin also getting a rebound here. Look at these beautiful corrections taking place, right? Look at these beautiful corrections taking place right now all across the board. So is the psychological movement of the price action already pricing in a dovish outlook from the Fed? Is that what we're seeing here? Or are we buying the news or buying the rumor and selling the news once the Jackson Hole takes place? And it all, of course, depends on whether or not, and guys, don't forget, answer the poll in the chat, but it all depends on whether or not what? If we find a hawk or a dove. If you see a hawk or a dove, that's what it depends on right now. And, you know, it's crazy that our entire investments and our entire bags depend on whether or not it's going to be between two different birds, right? Minutes are always a nothing burger, green fingers, and that's why we're going to be watching the price action closely going up into the FOMC minutes, because the Jackson Hole is the everything burger, right? And I mean, it could be a nothing burger too, but the Jackson Hole, as far as I understand, will be Jerome Powell's last moment as Fed chair. And then we have, guys, things could be really heating up, okay? Things could really, really be heating up as we move forward and go into the rest of President Trump's presidential term. I mean, we have nothing but just one thing after another coming in when it comes to regulation and just regulatory progress when it comes to blockchain and cryptocurrency advancement in this technology and in the US. And I think it's huge. It is such a big deal. I mean, if you go and you look at the Federal Reserve's website at federalreserve.gov and you come over here to their news and events, and you can come here and you can look at the videos. And this was today, right? And this is Governor Christopher J. Waller at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium 2025 talking about technological advancements in payments. I mean, guys, are we not bullish enough are we not bullish enough? Embracing innovation. This was yesterday. Vice Chair for Supervision Michelle Bowman at the Wyoming Blockchain Symposium 2025, speaking on embracing innovation. Innovation into what? Blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And, you know, for those of us that have been in this space for quite some time now, this is a big deal, right? Because we've waited a long time to be able to have the proof to give everyone that I told you so moment. You know what I mean? We've all wanted it. We've all waited for so long, and now we have it, right? But you know what? Sometimes no coiners, it doesn't matter if you have proof to give them right in front of their faces. If they just will not, they cannot adjust and they cannot adapt to the growing market that is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And if you can't grow and adapt to the evolving markets, then you will not profit. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't be able to stay stable, right? That doesn't mean that you won't be able to live comfortably and stay stable and survive. But if you really want to dive deep and you really want to go all in, you've got to be willing to adapt. You've got to be willing to take risk and adapt. Now, all eyes on U.S. Fed FOMC meeting minutes. We're going to be taking a look at it. It's coming up here very soon, guys. Actually, it's coming up here in the next just a few minutes. Now, I do have the Federal Reserve's YouTube channel pulled up here, but I also am going to be taking a look at other avenues to make sure that we don't miss anything with this. And once the FOMC is over with, we will jump into the charts, guys. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere.
Joins us from Citi. He's got this to say. Recent labour market data increased the scope for a Fed cut as soon as September. We expect that the Fed will look through elevated inflation in the coming months and favour the growth side of its mandate. Rob joins us now for more. Rob, good morning. Good to see you. Less on housing and less on the politics at the moment. Much more on this Federal Reserve going into September. What do you expect to hear this coming Friday?
I think Chair Powell's in a tough spot going into Friday because we've got a long way to go until we have that.
Ahead of the FOMC minutes, we're going to go ahead and just take a look at a couple of takes from different perspectives here on what people are kind of expecting.
September meeting you referenced, and a lot of data in between now and then. On top of that, he has the political pressure on the back of his neck he's been dealing with some time. So he can't lean one way or another, in my view, in this speech. So it's going to be a lot of, here's what's happening with the labor side of things. There are a lot of factors going on. Here's what's happening with the inflation side of things. Fairly muted so far, but we expect more to come. We have to wait and see. And so he's not going to lean too strongly one way or another. Ultimately, I do think that we're going to see more softness in the second half on activity, a bit more inflationary pressure, and that's going to lead to those cuts that I was referencing. But I think it's too soon for him to lean too strongly into that.
So you think it's going to be a snoozer? Is that what you're saying?
I think a bit of it. I mean, I think there's going to be interesting issues in the speech. As I said, there are a lot of interesting things going on in this economy. Labor market's a good example. We've had a lot weaker labor reports recently, but we're also getting a contraction in labor supply. At the same time, we're getting a slowdown in labor demand. Where the break-even rate is for the labor market and what holds the unemployment rate constant, not clear at this moment. So I think those issues will be outlined.
If the focus is on growth, which has been the focus for the Fed, the feeling that if there is a recession, the negative effects longer term of a loss of employment is so pernicious that you want to avoid that at all costs, even if it comes with higher inflation. Does that mean that they are biased to allow inflation to be perpetually above 2%? And I say perpetually, but at least over the next few years. Is that essentially a Fed that is willing to accept 2 to 3% inflation, not just 2% inflation?
Yeah, and I think this is the challenge with targeting 2% inflation is I think in this environment or in any environment, I think they wouldn't explicitly say it this way, but if inflation goes down to, let's say, something like 2.25%, I think they'd be just fine with that. I think once you're getting to numbers that are closer to the high 2s into the 3s and even higher than that, that's where the discomfort starts. So it's really a soft target around those numbers. And in our own forecast, inflation, core inflation rises to about 3%, maybe even a little above by the end of the year. I think those numbers are too high, but they still favor the growth side of the mandate. And if they think that the inflation will subside over a few quarter period, they're willing to put a few rate cuts through. So it's a balancing act. If inflation goes much higher than we're forecasting, which I don't expect, then I think rate cuts are less likely. So it's really about where is inflation heading and how willing are they to look through that to support the growth side.
They've been looking through it now for years. They've missed their target for 4 years.
Yep.
Inflation is close to 3%. It is in the high twos. I don't sense any discomfort whatsoever. Do you?
Yeah, it's a great point. I think they.
Well, I hate to be snarky about it. Discomfort whatsoever.
Yep.
Hold on. That guy caught me off guard. Let's go back real quick.
To support the growth side.
They've been looking through it now for years. They've missed their target for 4 years.
Yep.
Inflation is close to 3%. It is in the high twos. I don't sense any discomfort whatsoever. Do you?
Yeah, it's a great point. I think they.
Well, I hate to be snarky about it. Forgive me.
I was going to say,
Seriously.
he was.
The chairman doesn't come out and sound.
He was a bit snarky.
With where, forgive me.
He was a bit snarky, right?
But seriously, the chairman doesn't come out and sound uncomfortable with where inflation is at all.
Well, they started some rate cuts last year, and I think they paused it because they felt that there were risks to inflation, and inflation was grinding down slowly. But I do agree with the progress they've been seeing. They don't sound particularly worked up about it. And if without the tariffs and those effects, if inflation were to continue to moderate in the way it was, I think we would still be getting gradual rate cuts. But it's this potential tariff effect which could lead to a reacceleration. That's what has them, I think, worried in the back of their mind.
Oh, before you leave.
Welcome back. Investors are on Fed watch this week ahead of Jerome Powell's annual Jackson Hole speech this Friday. They're hoping for any clues into whether the central bank may finally start to cut those rates. The speech coming at an especially pivotal time as tariff tensions drag on and the labor market has shown some signs of slowing. Not to mention, President Trump hasn't let up on his pressure campaign when it comes to Jerome Powell. Just this morning, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said interviews for an incredible group of potential Fed chairs will start after Labor Day. So as we close in on Jackson Hole, we're reminded in years past that news definitely comes out of this conference. All the financial networks will be covering it, Mark Tepper, including us. But my question to you is, does it matter this year? Is Jerome Powell a big, fat, lame duck?
I do think it matters. Okay. I think, right now there's an 83% chance of a September rate cut. I think we need that. I mean, we certainly have some situations here in the United States that are problematic. You look at the fact that housing is the least affordable it's ever been. Right now, existing homes are $33,000 more than new homes. That just doesn't even make sense. But that's due to the fact that people locked in 3% mortgages a few years ago, and they're unwilling to sell their home and take on a 7% mortgage. Businesses need affordable capital to access so that they can purchase machinery, so that they can execute on growth plans, so that they can hire people. We need a lower cost of capital. And if you remember back at Jackson Hole last year, Powell did make a bit of a dovish pivot right before he rolled out that 50 basis point bazooka cut the following month. I would expect that despite the fact that we had a one-time pop in the PPI number, hopefully he thinks that's transitory, like he told us for years and years and years, and they make the decision to cut and give us at least a 25 basis point cut.
Brian, do you think he'll do it, or you think he's going to dig his heels in? Just because of Donald Trump.
Okay, so I am not the guy you typically hear saying that Powell's super, super political and it's all despite Donald Trump. I'm not saying that's not true, but I usually don't say that. But I think he's going to try very hard at this meeting to say nothing that suggests a rate cut is coming. I think he is going to be, what's an animal that just sits on the eggs, and if you get anywhere close, it'll just you talked about a lame duck. He's not a lame duck. He's like a mother hen on the eggs, right? And he doesn't.
That was really interesting. I'm not.
Is that interesting?
Yeah,
You like that?
going with that.
But keep going.
Because I think a little bit of the political animosity is taking over in him. I think it's going to take over in the next few months. And I think at this meeting, President Trump is going to want him to say the time for cutting is now, and Powell's not going to give that to him. Even if they decide to cut in September, he's going to studiously not say that in Jackson Hole, because I think a little bit of that spite is going to operate here.
Do you think, Marcus, he still goes along with the same narrative, which is tariff trouble is coming, I'm waiting for it, it's coming,
Tariff trouble is here. debt to income is the issue that he needs to solve for. And he was talking about, I want to make capital cheaper for companies. I agree. I'm one of those people. But debt to income is the thing we don't talk about. We talk about discretionary dollars. Discretionary dollars come when your debt is lowered, not in its principal balance, but in its monthly variable balance. And the only way to have the thing be a soft landing for consumers is the tariffs are there. How do you hurdle it? You bring the variable payments down in my house and in your house, and you give me the discretionary dollars to be able to absorb it.
Okay.
Big difference.
That sounds like cutting interest rates to me.
It's cutting interest rates, but
I'm trying to interpret that.
But cutting interest rates for the knowledge that the consumer is suffering and the tariffs are not going away.
Yeah.
One thing I mentioned in the commercial break is that there were 71 corporate bankruptcy filings in the month of July, and that surges past the pandemic high. The total number for the first 7 months of this year is 446. I can go through a lot of the companies that have filed, but like several high-profile bankruptcies, Del Monte Foods, did Rite Aid file for bankruptcy? I don't want to say that.
Over-leveraged high rates, period.
Right, but you said that the revolving debt is also a huge problem.
That's right. The revolving debt for corporations is massive today. I look at some of my businesses, and I have if you have $1 billion of debt, a quarter of a point's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm also worried about commercial real estate for that reason, too. People who have adjustable rate mortgages have been saying to me, I don't know how much longer I can go. And that's something that President Trump would have his eye on and a good pulse of, too, because he's a real estate guy.
I think it's important when we're talking about tariffs and the potential inflation for us to understand the scope and magnitude of what worst-case scenario could look like for consumers if 100% of those tariff costs were actually passed on to consumers and not eaten by corporations, which is not what's happening right now. But as a country, we generate $25 trillion of personal income every year. We import $3.3 trillion of goods. We are starting to narrow in on a 13 to 14% effective tariff rate on those goods, which is roughly $450 billion. All of that equates to a 1.7% tax on consumers, which has been more than offset by the One Big Beautiful Bill. So at the end of the day, if that's worst case scenario for consumers.
Yo, what is going on, Jerry and everybody? Welcome in, guys. Thank you for joining us.
The tariff bite hits before the
We are going to be breaking down the FOMC minutes and what was just released, and we're going to be taking a look at how the markets are going to be reacting here shortly.
taxes, which is why some people said, why didn't they do the taxes first, then do the tariffs, whatever. But that's your timing problem, and that'll matter because if in the short term the tariffs bite more, then you get a guy at the Federal Reserve who doesn't want to help the president anyway. He's a mother hen. He says, I'm not going to cut rates. And
I
then
think,
you're
though,
in a problem.
worst case scenario, the consumer only gets stuck with a third of the tariffs. I think that the foreign country that's sending the item over, the exporter and the importer on this side, realize they both have to do something. They've been doing maybe more than they will, but I can't see a scenario where they pass the entire cost off. To your point.
The elasticity isn't there.
Yeah.
The elasticity isn't there. One last thing on inflation, right? Inflation typically is where demand is massively outpacing supply. That is not the inflation we're talking about today. We're saying demand isn't any higher. The cost of the product's higher. Now, is demand going to go down? That's the question.
Which would be deflationary.
Right.
In the longer run.
Which is, what I feel like you've always been
interest
saying.
Rates come down and you're freeing up dollars out of your household.
Because it becomes a tax on consumers, and then they would be.
All right, looks like markets are dumping here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this and go over what exactly has happened and why the market is correcting here after the FOMC minutes was just released, guys. Let's go ahead and break it down, and let's see if Bitcoin and Ethereum and your altcoin bags can withstand the rest of this correction. Now, we have rebounded quite a bit, and there is some critical support that could be held here, and we could see a breakout of this falling channel for Bitcoin here on the short term. Now, that would line up and make sense with the FOMC minutes, but let's go ahead and break down the FOMC minutes and see exactly what just happened and why Bitcoin is crashing. Don't forget, guys, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button And if you can, smash that like button for me one time. It's greatly appreciated, and it helps out so much. And it takes little to no effort for you guys to do, and it just really makes a difference for the stream and helps us reach more people. Now, this right here, obviously, Bitcoin testing major resistance on this downtrend. Right as the FOMC minutes were released, Bitcoin came up and tapped perfectly this downtrend resistance with this wick, and we have almost a triple top action here playing out on the short term. Now, this is the immediate short term. We've got the 15-minute time frame pulled up here, and it looks like to me that we are getting rejected at this resistance. Now, the support coming up is going to be our POC right at that $113,000 range. 113.5K could be major support to hold or break. If we do break this support, we're going to be talking about where we might go coming up. And that's going to be our immediate channel support here. And this is the short term. We're going to zoom out here in a second after we talk about the FOMC minutes. Now, the short term price action for Bitcoin, we could see the price get rejected here and continue to fall as it has previously. You can see many times we've gotten rejected. However, we are showing signs of strength with this being the 5th touch of resistance here. So, do we need to come all the way down and test the support of the channel once more for a 4th or 5th touch on the support? I don't believe so, honestly. And Hussein, I thank you for hitting that subscribe button. I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to smash the like as well. Do we need to come all the way down, break the POC, and retest? Possibly, we're looking at down around, support would be around possibly $110,000 for Bitcoin would be our support level to look at. Now, do we need to see that happen? I don't necessarily think so. The POC here at, like I said, 113,000, 113.5K coming up could hold. However, FOMC, look at ETH getting a nice little drop in as well. Now, let's quickly recap what happened with the FOMC minutes. And let's break that down for you guys here, because that is really what's happening with the market. That's what's going on here with the market. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Right here is the entire breakdown, okay? Now, this is the entire breakdown. Obviously, you guys understand how difficult it would be for you guys to sit and read all of this and take away anything from it, right? So what I'm going to do is I've already got it broken down here in key highlights, and we're going to go over this together briefly here. But I'm not going to leave this up on the screen while I talk about it. Just know that this information is coming directly from the FederalReserve.gov website. Okay, so this is coming directly from the FOMO o'clock. A strike of heart, I like that. So let's go ahead and break down the FOMC minutes, what happened, and why the market is possibly reacting the way it is. And as we do discuss this, we can go ahead and leave the short term up and see if this point of control is going to hold, or if we're going to come down and back test support once more. Let's break it down, guys. So key highlights from the FOMC minutes. We have the debate on near-term rate cuts. So the minutes shed light on internal policy splits, notably whether additional Fed officials aligned with Governors Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller in favor of cutting rates soon. Beyond just those two dissents, recent weak labor data like July job creation, downward revisions echoed their concerns for easing policy. Inflation and labor market tensions. While inflation data came in hotter than expected, empowering hawkish members, the labor market showed signs of cooling. This mix accentuated the Fed's split between managing inflation risk and supporting a softening labor environment. Market betting shifts. Markets have dialed back slightly, but not dramatically. On optimistic cut pricing, odds for a September rate cut now hover around 85%, down from earlier highs, but still indicate strong expectations of a rate cut in September. Market reactions in real time. So the U.S. stock futures weakened, weighed down by mixed retail earnings and the uncertainty following the minutes. Tech names and broader indices displayed caution. Cryptocurrencies, crypto markets slid notably. Obviously, we all have felt the drop. With Bitcoin down considerably at around the $113,000 level right now, we did reach as low as 112,000 there. Could 112K be the bottom? With Bitcoin and Ethereum down, XRP also tumbling quite a bit, Solana dipping as well, reflecting heightened risk-off sentiment. Now, what about investor sentiment? The tone was one of wait and see. Markets are clearly pulling back in anticipation of Powell's Jackson Hole speech tomorrow, which the Jackson Hole speech could recalibrate expectations on policy direction and rate cut expectations. So let's take a look at some key takeaways here from the FOMC minutes. Minutes signal growing openness to cuts beyond the two dissents, but caution still remains. As far as economic conditions go, inflation is sticky, labor shows signs of weakness, creating policy friction. And market expectations. September cut odds remain high with about around 85%, give or take, though slightly pulled back from previous expectations. The stock market, as far as the risk on assets, have cooled. Futures slipped amid cautious sentiment. Crypto has declined across the board. Crypto remains highly sensitive to policy risk. Volatility is always expected ahead of and following any FOMC meeting. Looking ahead, all eyes on Powell's Jackson Hole speech tomorrow. As Greenfingers mentioned in the chat earlier, typically sometimes the FOMC minutes can be a nothing burger. But the Jackson Hole speech tomorrow could be the real catalyst zone for a major breakout. And that has basically broke down the FOMC minutes in short. Now, obviously, if you guys want to go ahead and take a look at the entire FOMC minute breakdown here, you can do that as well. But we've pretty much covered the basics here of what has come out. And honestly, it's pretty much to be expected. Pretty much what has came out is what we were all pretty much expecting. However, are the markets going to react the way we expect? Because typically the markets do the complete opposite of what we expect, correct? Smash a like if you agree with that. Anybody in crypto and trading has always felt that at some point. You feel like no matter what you do, the market's going to do the opposite. And once you find that groove and that rhythm, that's when you start really seeing profits come in. And that's when you really start seeing your discipline, your drive, your motivation all pay off, right? Looking for the word there, and there's a word, but I'm having a, what is that moment you call cat got your tongue moment? Yeah. I couldn't think of the word. But anyways, we are going to take a look at the charts now. We're going to break it down here and look at Ethereum. We're going to look at Bitcoin, XRP, Dogecoin, and then we are going to also check in and see if we can catch anything live happening right at the moment. I will make sure and keep this updated for you guys and catch anything as it's happening live. Real quick. Let's see. Let's take a look at this real quick. Con, I appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Guys, don't forget, subscribe, smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, definitely check us out. We've been in crypto and we've been around for a while. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. And then we will get into the charts. I do want to look at this, see what Fleming has to say here.
This is a
Now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, both getting rejected here. We were at resistance at the time of the FOMC minutes release. We were already at resistance, so a pullback honestly was expected anyways, right? But let's just go ahead and see what they have to say here.
You're seeing what the Fed's dealing with, Francine, and you're seeing it in the data day to day, is the continuing tug of war between the employment and growth side and the inflation side. And you and I have talked about this on this program. Their greatest desire is to avoid having both problems. They don't want that word stagflation. And it's playing out, markets and everybody watching this in the data day to day. So I think a week or two ago, you had a good CPI number, stock market, equities rally, and literally a day or two later, you have a hotter than expected PPI number, and the markets go the other way. So nobody really knows which side is going to be the bigger problem. So they've tried to straddle that, and that's why they've kept rates where they are all year long, despite lots of pressures on them from all directions. I think, if anything, they're starting to tilt toward a first cut, because the employment numbers in the last 3 or 4 months are definitely in a different spot than they were. And unemployment is starting to tick up, but workforce participation is, in particular, down more. So he may use this as an opportunity to say, to try to foreshadow that a little bit. Yep. I still think before I would say that they will definitely cut in the September meeting, they will watch the data again for the reasons that I'm talking about here. It's so at the margin close on both sides. Mm-hmm. They'll see what happens between the end of August and the end of the meeting later in September before they actually make a decision. But I think they're starting to tilt toward a cut at the September meeting.
But Greg, I mean, I guess central banks don't have anything if they're not credible, right? It's all about trust. Yeah. So is, Jay Powell going to be a little bit more reluctant than, let's say, go for a 50 basis point cut, just so that he is seen as independent?
I think also the data will keep him away from a 50 basis point cut. I know there are parts of the market that are saying maybe he'll cut 50. I think the market's ahead of itself there. I think this is still, he's got pressure on both sides. I mean, it's not like inflation is, absolutely in a bottle and there aren't things that are pressuring the inflation side. Plus, Francine, on the market side, he's got a very healthy equity market. He's got a risk appetite on in the U.S. So he's got to look at all of that as well. You have AI, which is, a force right now, but it's certainly fueling tremendous investment. So I think it's not just the political side, and I think he's tried to block that out this year somewhat. I think it's more the data would suggest if he wants to put his foot in the water on the employment side, he's going to do it in a more cautious manner than 50 basis points. 50 basis points would be a statement that he really thinks the economy is slowing, in a way that he's really concerned about. I don't expect him to go there.
I mean, my favorite, most geeky question, is there a data point that you look at to try and understand exactly what we're seeing? Because as you're saying, we're kind of in the balance right now. I know we also have retail companies. We have Walmart, Target a little bit later on this week. I mean, are they almost a better indicator of where inflation goes than some of the data that's a bit more backward looking from the Fed?
Well, they're an indicator, but again, that's a process. Right. And one of the things I've said, and you and I talked about this last time as well, this is the first time in any of our careers, anybody, that we've had tariffs at this level in the United States. So exactly how that plays out and how much the consumer ends up eating versus different parts of the value chain along the way, including the U.S. corporations who don't raise prices or raise them less than otherwise. That's all still playing out. And you have a lot of economists saying, well, wait a minute, why hasn't it triggered greater inflation quickly? And that might be because the value chain's eating it along the way. So with that in motion, I think he's hesitant to look at retail sales, anything in particular. Francine, if there was something that I think they look at very closely, it's employment. And I think the employment picture in the U.S. is unequivocally softer than it was 6 or 12 months ago. And that's why I think if he tilts and starts to move toward the cut side, that is the single piece of market information that they're taking in.
And Greg, I think you're right. I mean, looking at the data, we're uncertain how a lot of the exporters are actually reacting for the moment to some of these tariffs. Do you have a good template of what the U.S. economy looks like in, let's say, 12, 18 months? We also heard this morning about this, meeting between Donald Trump and actually some of the big miners, Rio Tinto and BHP, to build some kind of mega mine in the U.S. I mean, does the composition of the American economy change?
Well, one thing, Francine, I'll say 12 or 18 months out, we're pretty optimistic on the U.S. economy. Okay. The pace of innovation continues. The amount of investment in AI is enormous. And it's at a level, I wonder if it's sustainable. I mean, even Altman said earlier this week, it was bubble-like in AI land. But having said that, what's happening in AI, and that is the leading indicator of entrepreneurialism and innovation right now, you basically have two forces in the world that are really pushing AI. You have the U.S. private sector, which is investing literally hundreds of billions of dollars in it right now. And then you have China, which is more the government putting its own money in and pushing companies to invest in it. Those are the two forces that are engaged in pushing AI forward. The rest of the world's really watching that. And both sides want their standard to be the one that everybody uses. Both sides are trying to get ahead from a technological standpoint. But the positive for the U.S. on that is enormous. And, you know, almost every American company of any size is already grappling with how do you take these incredible tools, which are maybe more powerful than anything humanity's ever seen, and implement that in their businesses. What changes, what jobs can be automated, you know, what things can be done more efficiently. In the United States, that's something every single company, public and private, is already working on.
But it could change everything.
It could change
everything in terms of job market. It could change everything into reaction function of the central bank. It could change absolutely everything. So how does, you know, what does it mean for markets?
Well, you know, that's the thing. It could change everything. And there are going to be winners and losers. There are already winners and losers from the introduction of AI.
Yeah.
You know, the education space in the U.S., you know, online education has been transformed because everybody uses the bots for whatever questions they have, whether they're at university or just somebody who's doing research on something they're involved in. So I think it will change industries. It will change the way central banks look at you know, growth versus employment. It may take some jobs away in the near term. I still believe a breakthrough technology like this always creates more jobs. At least history would suggest. The internet created more jobs, railroads, combustion engine. I think this fits into that over time. But could it be more difficult in the transition period? Yes, on the employment side.
All right, guys. Now let's get into it. I'm going to jump into the chat as well, and we'll do some Q&A. We'll talk to you guys, get your guys' opinion and your guys' take on the FOMC minutes. I'm also going to do another quick recap on the FOMC minutes release, so that you guys that might have missed it earlier whenever I did talk about it, so that you guys can also not miss that and not have to go back and look for it and search for it in the replay of the live stream. So we're going to go ahead and recap the FOMC minutes release once more for those of you that are coming in late to the party. I'm also going to jump into the chat. We're going to talk to you guys in the chat and get your guys' feedback of the market reaction here, as we do see that the market has rejected at resistance after the FOMC minutes release. Now, let's get into it. And guys, don't forget, if you are new to the channel and new to our community here and you love crypto, you're in the right place. Don't go anywhere and don't miss a beat. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join our brand new Discord. It's free, and we're going to be talking about some major developments with our community and possibly even a token launch on Solana coming up. It's not really a possibility. It is going to happen, but we're not going to get into that. Anyways, smash the like button. And we're going to jump back into the FOMC minutes. I am going to do another quick breakdown for you guys on that, just for those of you that missed it. We don't want to miss any of this, especially when it comes to the crypto market. As we all know, very sensitive to these FOMC meetings and releases of data. So, again, we are going to jump into the chat as well. First, I'm going to do that. I'm going to look into the chat real quick and recap here because I might have missed some stuff here. We got Green Fingers, Craze reacts. What is going on? ETH ready for $5,000. You know what? I am patiently waiting for ETH to hit 5K, and honestly, higher than that. Let's go. Strike a heart. Show enough. Is this the real show or no? Well, guys, apparently the FOMC minutes is, as Greenfingers said, the nothing burger. The real big meeting is going to be the Jackson Hole speech for Jerome Powell, which will be tomorrow. Now, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I will be live covering the market reaction to that as well, and the speech while it's live. So if you want to see the market reaction in real time, then definitely subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss that. Greenfingers, I appreciate you being here. Strakerheart, I appreciate you being here as well. Chart Pulse AI, what's up? ETH next stop 5K, yes sir. Farrell, New York City, only 2 supported cuts. What is going on, Farrell? Melvin, thanks for hitting that subscribe button, my man. Chart Pulse AI, what's going on? Greenfingers said, Strega, been buying views. No, sir. Greenfingers, our live stream was showing up number 3 on the first page of search results when you search for FOMC Live. So we were on it, like, first and foremost, though. We were like the top. We were the first ones to really release the actual information, which I am about to recap for you guys that are jumping in late to the party. I am about to recap the total FOMC minutes release, just so that we can see what is going on here and why the market is correcting. Why the Bitcoin and crypto market is going down. Obviously, Jerome Powell. I love Joe Hussein. I love you as well. Thank you very much. Let's go over the quick recap for the FOMC minutes. And guys, if you are new, again, I won't keep asking. I won't keep mentioning, but it's greatly appreciated. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and do it. All right. So quick breakdown here of the actual FOMC minutes. Let me pull it up here. I do have a complete breakdown of this. Hussein, no worries at all. We are going to completely go over the FOMC minutes release. We're going to completely recap that for you guys. The FOMC minutes was released today, August 20th. Now, guys, you do know, I want to reiterate this, that the FOMC minutes that was released today is from the July 29th, July 30th FOMC meeting. So again, the big deal, Raul, thanks for hitting that subscribe button. The big deal is going to be the Jackson Hole speech with Jerome Powell tomorrow. But this is still a big deal as well. As you can see, it is causing Bitcoin and Ethereum to drop. So let's go over the key highlights from the FOMC minutes once again, and we will jump back into the charts and the chat. So key highlights from the FOMC minutes release: rate decision and dissent. The Fed has held rates steady at 4.25% to 4.5%, but there was a rare split vote. Governors Michelle Bowman and Christopher Waller dissented, both advocating a 25 basis point cut. This marked the first dual dissent from sitting governors since 1993. So that's a strong implication for a September rate cut as well. Tariffs and inflation risk loom large. Officials voiced concern that waiting for full clarity on the inflationary effects of tariffs isn't practical. Many stressed that inflation risk currently outweighs labor market concerns. And moving on to the labor market debate from the FOMC minutes. The FOMC minutes goes on and explains the labor market. Disagreement surfaced over whether stable employment signals strength or if slower wage gains and job growth hint at softening demand. There was really no broader support for cuts, but that could be why we're seeing the market dip. Does that mean that we won't see a rate cut in September? No. That's not what that means at all. But it just means that the FOMC minutes release shows that there was no broader support for cuts at the end of July. But moving forward, that could change. The dissent was isolated. Almost all participants supported leaving rates unchanged. Remember, keep in mind, this is from the end of July. Market odds and looking ahead. Investors continue pricing in high 85% odds of a September rate cut. So again, the September rate cut is almost like we're going to manifest this shit, right? Okay? Excuse my language. If you're a family friendly, we're family friendly. I mean, we're a family friendly channel, right? But let's manifest it, guys. Market reaction summary. So let's take a look at the market reaction summary. Obviously, you guys have the charts right here in front of you. You guys can see what Bitcoin is doing, and you can see what Ethereum is doing after the FOMC minutes release. There is some hawkish tone. The emphasis on tariffs and inflation suggested a cautious stance, possibly delaying a cut. Dissent, not contagious. Since no one else joined Bowman and Waller, markets see this as a contained split. So nobody else has stepped up to advocate for a September rate cut. Expectations largely intact, though. The September cut probability remains elevated. All eyes now shift to the Jackson Hole tomorrow, where Powell speaks. This is where the real policy tone may shift. Again, I will be here, guys, with you live. As long as weather and whatever permits, I will be here live to cover this with you guys in real time as well tomorrow. So, FOMC minutes just dropped. The Fed held rates at 4.25 to 4.5%, but shocker, two governors called for a cut. And this being the first duo dissent since 1993 gives me a good reason to believe that we're going to be seeing a rate cut in September. Now, let's talk about what could happen either way, right? Because in these markets, as volatile as they are, you need to be prepared for both scenarios, the bullish case and the bearish case. So I will go over the charts with you guys and we'll jump into the chat. I'll take some questions. We can talk crypto. You guys have made it this far into the stream. I appreciate you. Smash the like and hit that subscribe if you're new. And we are going to go ahead and get on into the next segment of the live stream. Luxury lifestyle TV. So see, people are very confused about this. And as of this moment, what actually happened was the FOMC minutes is this right here. Okay. Federal Open Market Committee. The minutes is basically reviewing what happened on the July 29th, July 30th FOMC press conference. Now, if there were to be anything happening live, we will definitely cover it. Here is the link to the FOMC minutes for July 2025. Now, again, remember, this is still big news, and obviously the market is reacting. We are seeing a drop here. ETH holding 4,200, Bitcoin holding 113. Newsflash, cold. What's going on? Are we bullish? XRP will not move above $5, and as an XRP investor, I'm saddened by such. Hey, a $5 XRP is beautiful to me. I'll take a $5 XRP any day. Any day. Give me a $5 ADA while you're at it, too. Give me a $5 ADA while you're at it, too. Speaking of XRP, honestly backtesting right now, right? And look at what we're doing here. So we done broke out of something, but XRP, honestly, we're going to get rid of that line. XRP forming a nice little descending wedge on the 4-hour. And you know, that's funny that you mentioned the $5 mark, because that happens to be one of my major price levels for XRP. $5. It does look as though we are in a descending wedge now for XRP, though. In the short term, we could go ahead and speculate this breakout here. As always, guys, not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. HODL, invest, trade at your own risk. Cryptocurrency is extremely volatile and risky. But where there is great risk, there can be great reward with discipline. And you know what's funny? The measure move target of this descending wedge on the 4-hour for XRP is 420. I mean, right at it. Look at that. Right at it. Right at it. 420, guys. So there you have it. 420 XRP. Can you chart NPC? Absolutely. I will chart whatever coins you guys would like me to chart. And again, just so you know, I've been in crypto since 2018. I've been trading, investing in crypto, and I've been doing TA and doing this YouTube stuff since 2021, 2020. So, you know, I've been in the game for a minute. My TA is good. Okay. Sadly, we most of our previous live streams were deleted. We had some issues a couple of years ago that happened, and I had to delete most of my previous live streams because honestly, we were just having too much fun, man. We were having too much fun, and the powers that be just, you know, they don't like that. So, what about Hyperliquid, Hypecoin? I have no idea what Hypecoin is, Jeffrey, but thank you for dropping those coins in the chat. I love hearing about it. Sometimes you guys drop straight alpha, and I cannot overlook that. Magic, World of Artificial Intelligence. What's going on? Thank you for dropping that in the chat. Pakistan PMO, please check link. Chain link. Stanky Lankies. Stanky Lankies. Hype link. Okay, Magic. We got a lot of coins here, guys. Thank you guys for dropping those in the chat. XRP, man. Honestly, XRP looking for a major move here. And honestly, all right, so 420 and 620. $420 and $620. Going to be the measure move targets here for XRP. Now, that's bullish case scenario. Remember, we're going to prepare you for both, and then we're going to look at some coins from you guys in the chat. Now, the downside case for XRP is going to be the back test of the breakout, right? Okay, so if XRP does not break out of this and we get rejected, it's likely that we come down and we back test the downtrend resistance for support before we go higher. And that's going to be that support around $2.20. Hype could be $100. Looking for it but can't find it. The FOMC that I had on screen here, guys. Now, if you look at this, if you look, let's see. So that is right here. Now, if you come to the FOMC page here, you come and you click on monetary policy, and then you click on Federal Open Market Committee, and then you click on meetings, calendars, and information. Okay? And then you look over here, related information. And right here is where you can see released on August 20th, 2025, FOMC Minutes. And you can download the PDF version, or you can just click on the HTML version of the FOMC Minutes report. And you can see here August 20th, so you know that this is the actual FOMC Minutes report from today. I think a lot of people were confused that that Powell would be speaking right at 1 p.m. or right at 2 p.m. And really what has happened is they've just released this information. So if you click on this, and now there still may be a live speech, but as of right now, this is the whole FOMC Minutes report right here, the entire report. Again, I broke it down for you guys, but if you guys want to come and check out the full report for yourselves, just go to the FOMC website at federalreserve.gov, click on monetary policy, click on Federal Open Market Committee, and that is where you will find the FOMC Minutes released today. And also, just so you guys know, Check Ina, please. Absolutely. Fares, I appreciate you. World of Artificial Intelligence, I appreciate you guys dropping those in the chat. This is a good, obviously, always go to the official website, right? federalreserve.gov, to get your info. You can see here that they keep it updated regularly, so definitely never miss a beat if you check on that, or just stay with us here on the channel. The spotlight will be on the release of the Federal Open Market Committee meeting minutes. So again, it was the release of the information that was the big deal, because this is highlighting everything from the July Fed meeting. And this article here talks about that and explains that. So the Federal Open Market Committee's last monetary policy meeting was held in July, where the interest rates were kept unchanged. The federal rates have been kept unchanged since December 2024. It is time for a cut. And this is the big deal. What led the FOMC members to refrain from cutting rates in July will be revealed on August 20th. So the reasons for them not cutting the rates was revealed today. And of course, the market has reacted somewhat bearishly here. Somewhat bearishly, but again, keep in mind that this little correction here for Bitcoin, right? And this was definitely topped out right here. But this little correction was nothing more than the reaction to the FOMC minutes release, right? So the big deal is going to be the Jackson Hole speech tomorrow. Will the Jackson Hole speech be bullish tomorrow? Will we see the markets react bullishly, or will this nasty, nasty bearish correction continue? XRP already getting a bounce. Let's go ahead and move on to those coins you guys mentioned. So, moving on. What was the first one here? Somebody help me out in the chat. Pingu. We got Pingu. Ina already priced in probably another burger. Green Fingers, I appreciate you, bro, as always. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys, by the way. Render, NPC. Guys, I appreciate you dropping those coins in the chat. I will take a look at as many as I possibly can. Christopher, I appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Is it possible for ADA to hit $86 right now? Or 86 cents? $86. Oh my gosh, I about made myself $86 ADA. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Where are my ADA holders at? I know I just sparked something in your pants. Anyways, ETH is going to 5K, dude. Yes. Yes. 5K and higher. Solana, Render, Magic. Okay. We're just going to jump at all of them, okay? We're just going to jump at all of them. Look, I've already got Solana up right here. Solana, honestly, beautiful breakout of the channel we had going on. We hit the target. We pulled back at the target. And now we got another beautiful pattern forming for Solana. And it is beautiful. So we'll look at Solana. We'll look at Ethereum. We'll look at, let's see, what was the other one? Magic? Oh, look at that. We actually breaking out here. Breaking out. Kevin, thank you for hitting that subscribe button, my man. We are actually, Solana actually breaking out on the hourly, guys. We could, now will it hold? Tough to say here. Conditions could be right for this breakout to hold. Let's go ahead and put in the rest of this pattern here. What do we have going on? Do we have... Oh, we do have a falling wedge here for Solana. A beautiful falling wedge for Solana. On the hourly time frame with a measured move target of approximately $200. Let's get above 200 Solana. And then, of course, if that happens now, that would set us up. Honestly, we should be going higher than that. That could be the measured move, but I think we'll go higher than that. If we can break, of course, the local resistance, we should come up and test this resistance near 222, 220. We should come up near $220 for Solana if we can manage to break out of this. And we should come up and test this resistance right here. Now, Ethereum, let's see. ETH actually getting a bounce in here on the short term. Look at that. We pulled back and dipped, but we're getting a bounce. So the FOMC minutes caused the dip, but we are already seeing a rebound on the short term. Got to get above that LSMA right here. 4,300 looking like resistance right now. 43.47. ETH, are we going to go down on Solana before retesting the resistance? You know what? The thing is, let's drop it down here to the 15-minute. So the thing is, you know, this could be a fake out, right? This could be a fake out. Judging by the way, okay, so judging by the way we broke out, you know, we broke out of the resistance. We broke out of the resistance, but look what we did. This is what I'm going to tell you about Solana before we move on to ETH. XRP, we can look at Arbitrum as well, but Solana right now, honestly, so we broke the resistance, but we fell below it on the FOMC minutes release, and now we are bouncing, trying to back under the resistance. We're back under the downtrend now. So in order for Solana to remain bullish without needing to, as you said, break down and go down and test support, we're going to need to reclaim this resistance as support. It's going to have to happen. Thanks for hitting that subscribe button, Hitish. It's going to have to happen. So Solana is going to need to get above and hold above 185. 185 for sure. Get above and hold above 185, and Solana is golden. Now, if not, our support is near 170. Previous resistance and support levels at 170. So if we were to pull back here, we could consolidate more into the wedge right there in the tip of the wedge. And that could potentially lead us all the way down to approximately that $170 level. If we were to do that, we could still break majorly bullish to the upside once we found support and showed strength on that support. Same thing happening here with Ethereum. Ethereum also going to need to get back above and hold above about $43.50, $4,350. We're going to need to get above that resistance and hold above that to remain bullish. Otherwise, this little bounce and reversal will be a nothing burger as well. Of course, we've looked at XRP. We've gave you guys the breakdown for XRP. I'll be honest, these patterns, I kind of like these patterns. Like the one that we're seeing on Arbitrum here. I honestly like this because we had a fake out right there, right, already. And these patterns are like textbook perfect, right? Textbook perfect for Arbitrum here. NPC with the big breakout. I'll take a look at it. Kira, absolutely. You are very welcome. Thank you. Been holding ETH for some time, and it's my favorite coin. I love Ethereum also. It is definitely one that you cannot go without. I mean, it's like, it's just one of the, it's the major, it's the top two coin. I mean, you know, as far as DeFi goes, Ethereum is Big Daddy. right underneath Bitcoin, right? Now, like I was saying with these patterns, Arbitrum, this pattern looks beautiful. I mean, this is a perfect, textbook perfect descending wedge pattern on the hourly for Arbitrum. So, I mean, breakout coming. And, you know, the squeeze is not quite all the way in. Honestly, it could still squeeze some more right here. But, man, that looks beautiful. So, depending on the breakout point, we could be seeing Arbitrum run back up and test around 62 cents. 60 cents is going to be that 60 to 62 cents there. Going to be that level to look at. Let me just drop a line in here at resistance. See if we can line up there. If we broke to the downside for whatever reason, if the Jackson Hole speech causes the bears to come out of hibernation once again. Downwards potential. Don't like it, but it would make sense. It would backtest our downtrend resistance right here for Arbitrum that we broke out of. Resistance, breakout could be the backtest right there if we were to go bearish. Now, let's see. We got render. Guess we'll just use this right here. Pingu price action, absolutely, Jeffrey. Coming up next, Pingu, ENA, Injective, NPC. 4-hour render chart here. Let's take a look at the 4-hour render chart. What is going on? Ty Stu in the house. Welcome, my man. What's good? Got a good amount watching today. Let's go. Yes, sir. You know what? We were showing up number 3 on search results for FOMC Live. So I don't know what's going on, man, but the algorithm is loving us today, guys. The algorithm is absolutely loving us today. I don't know if I broke the system or what, guys, but smash the like because we've got 2,286 views. We had over 100 people viewing the stream today, guys. You know, if we could get some more likes up, that'd be fantastic. I appreciate it, but it's not necessary. I appreciate you guys being here with me and talking crypto today with me. I'm obsessed. I'm crypto obsessed, like most of you probably are. So it's nice to have like-minded people to talk to about it, especially if you don't have any people in real life to talk to about it. You know what I mean? Literally, nobody. How do you know you're still early in Bitcoin and crypto? Because literally nobody around you in real life still even knows what the hell it even is. Bro, we are still early. All right. Again, thank you guys, man. It's been one hell of a stream. I'm going to try my best to look at all the coins you guys are mentioning, but if I can't get to all of them in this stream, catch us tomorrow for the Jackson Hole speech, and I will try to look at your coins tomorrow. Saint Sinner, what's going on? I appreciate you being here. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button for us. It's greatly appreciated. Savvy Sid, bro, view Solana in 15 minutes. Well, you know, we just looked at Solana and I gave you guys my take on it. Bullish and bearish. No fluff, straight alpha here, always, guys. The TA obviously is just, I keep it crisp and I keep it simple for the average Joe. I try to make this channel appealing to the newcomer in the crypto space so that people aren't so scared of crypto like it's some kind of foreign thing that they can't do. Like anybody can do this if you just really want to and learn about it. That's all. Matt, thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Alpha Joe Crypto, bro. Transparent, what's good? Thank you. Monsoon, hey, I thank you for hitting that subscribe button. We are on Render right now. Alpha Joe Crypto. Ty Stu, you might be onto something there, my man. You might be onto something there. Injective coming up next after Render. So Render on the 4-hour time frame, guys. You know, let's just take a look at some downtrends here. Okay, because you've broken that downtrend. You've broken that downtrend for Render, and so now you have this downtrend to look at, right? On the 4-hour, you've broken each one of these, but each time you can see, you know, you've put in a lower high here, lower high, but look what's happened right here on the 4-hour for Render, and this is a good indication that Render could be finding a bottom. You have 3 touches here on the 4-hour, and they almost line up perfectly with each other. So there's some decent support here for Render token around the low here at the low at 253. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. I did not realize that you can't see the price levels. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So again, support down here. Lots of support down here. Lots of support down here around that low at 250. $2.50 support holding up nicely. So let me go to the daily real quick for Render. And just look at this. So yeah, I mean on the daily, look at that support right there. Look at that support. 250, man. I mean, honestly, when you look at it, this should be the bottom. This should be the bottom. The next leg down would send Render, if this $2.50 support does not hold, then the next leg down would likely come on down here to around the 82-cent mark. And that would be back testing this previous resistance and our breakout point right here. And obviously you can see the volume on the VRVP right here. So, I mean, Render, honestly, on the daily, okay. All right, we're back. I don't know what happened there. Sometimes my microphone just glitches out on me. I'm not sure why. Let's see. But you guys should still be able to hear me okay. All right, good to go. So again, as I was talking, Render here looking like on the daily. Honestly, this is going to be a nice squeeze. Look at this. Gosh, we've got so much going on. Yeah, this is a nice tight squeeze for Render on the daily. Look at this. So if Render continues to squeeze in this, right, we could squeeze in this. It's likely that this is going to break to the upside, in my opinion. We've got a potentially descending wedge on the daily for Render. Now, could we still see Render, you know, consolidate here some more? Possibly. I mean, do we need a 4th touch on this? I mean, we've got 3 touches down here at that 250 support. Again, that's what I would be watching closely for Render. $2.50 support to hold, and then a breakout above the downtrend resistance. That breakout's going to be approximately $4. I mean, we got to break $4, right? $4 is going to be your previous support right here. And it's going to be your breakout point. $4 is going to be your breakout point. So can Render break out of this I mean, it's broke each one of these before, right? It's broke each one of those before. Measurement potential. Measure move target potentially would be $20. Right there around $20 for render, guys. Manster, the Fed statement has been released, and we did recap that and go over all of that in depth with you guys on the stream in the beginning of the stream. I may do one more quick recap of it before I end the stream, just for those of you that are hopping in late. But I did recap it twice already, so I won't spend too much time on that. But render, honestly, I like it. I like it, and I mean, I know that that $20 sounds kind of crazy, right? Does it sound kind of crazy? Not really. Not really. If you look at render on the long term, it really doesn't sound crazy. In fact, it might actually line up and make sense. Oh yeah, look at the monthly render chart. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah, let's go render. Render ready to go, man. We might still pull back. We need to hold 250, but if 250 holds, render is going to blast to the moon. Give us a little bit of macro bullishness and render is going to pump. Injective, yes. Don't forget MPC, injective. Let's see, what else? Injective, MPC, C, SWE, or no, SWE, no, that's C. How do we even keep up anymore? How many cryptos are there now? Like 4 million? Bro, SWE, C, yeah. Anyways, injective, let's see. We looked at render. Render looks great. Remember, not financial advice. Invest, trade, hodl at your own risk, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. Obviously, look at me. Look at me. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a regular dude, just like you. I've been in crypto since 2018. And you know what? Let's go ahead and pull up. We're going to move on to, what was the first one? Oh, I don't know. Okay, MPC. Is it even, let's see. MPC with the USD. Oh my God. What? Bro, hold on. Yeah, I don't know, man. See, I don't know much about this coin, so I'm not going to really give my 2 cents too much on this. There's not a lot of price action here. There's not a lot of price history. The only thing I'm going to note here for this coin is that the MACD on the 4 hour is crossing. And it looks like you might be potentially, I don't know about these giant ass wicks though. See, I don't like dealing with coins like this. Trying to TA a coin like this is like almost useless. But it does look like you're trying to break the downtrend possibly. Okay. But again, trying to TA a coin like this, it's almost useless, man. Coins like this, I don't even know what MPC is, bro. But if you're following this or if you're holding this coin, obviously it looks like maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look into it. I don't even know what it is, man. But it's on Kraken. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to look into it, man, fundamentally. Chart-wise, I mean, it looks good and bad. Short term, you're breaking a downtrend. When you zoom out, though, it looks kind of toppy. So, it could be trying to come back down, get up here, get rejected, and come on back down to a penny. So just take caution with that, man. Again, I don't even know what it is. So, Mints, Powell, yes. The FOMC Minutes update, we've already went over that a couple of times. Again, I will go over it once again for you guys. We have 384 votes on the poll in the chat. And right now, it looks like... Wow, so it looks like the majority of you guys, out of 384 votes on the poll in the chat, it looks like 59% are hawkish on the FOMC. So, you guys, man, where are the bulls at, man? Where are the bulls at? The FOMC minutes. Where are the bulls at, guys? Thank you all for joining and showing up today. Again, smash the like if you haven't yet. It's greatly appreciated. It helps out so much. Helps the stream reach more people. Helps us grow on the channel. So I really do appreciate you guys. We've got 2,500 views on the stream today. Bro. Wait, what? Anyways, guys, moving on. Injective, because I know that somebody on here was wanting to look at Injective. Okay. Again, I will look at as many coins as I can for you guys before we end the stream. Savage turnout today. Thai Stew, yes, bro. Yes. I will do my best, my connection willing, I will do my best to be live and cover the Jackson Hole speech tomorrow. So don't miss it. I will cover it and the market and the price action in real time and TA your coins in real time while we are witnessing Jerome Powell's final speech. You know what? We're no longer going to be able to use Powell, man. The Jerome Powell meme is gone. It's gone, man. He's leaving us. Oh, Powell is finally leaving us, man. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? That could be a new poll. Injective. One of them coins, man. I actually have, I hold some Injective. I probably don't hold as much Injective as you guys, but I hold some Injective. AVAX. I can look at Avalanche for you. Taryn Pritt, you were wanting Injective. That's right. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with you guys in the chat as well. The best I can. I'm a one-man show over here. A one-man show. Positive vibes. What's going on? I dig the name. Good, bad for the USD. Listen, it's always bad for USD. Bro, it's always bad. What kind of question is that? Positive vibes, though. Positive vibes. But yes, it's always bad. USD is the US dollar has been losing value for decades. I don't know, man. I got my opinions, but, you know, don't we all? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got them. Anyways, let's move on to Injective. How many of you guys have ever heard that saying? Is BTC USD going to push up? Is Bitcoin going to get its workout in? You know what? Honestly, wow. XRP trying to push on the 5-minute. Look at that. XRP trying to push. Bitcoin trying to push. FOMC right here. FOMC minutes right here. Right? But look, we are already pushing back. So the bulls are already pushing back after the FOMC minutes was released. Come on, bulls. Let's fight it. Injective. Can Injective? What is Injective doing here? This is the Coinbase chart, so we are limited a little bit here. But let's look at the monthly. And the reason I come out here like this on the longer term time frames is because you just have to. You just have to really know what's going on. To really see what's happening. For example, Injective, I'm going to pull up a different Injective chart though. Somebody help me out here. Where's the price action? Where's the price history here? Okay, that's a little better. Now, that's better. On the monthly, you can see that the MACD is actually getting down here close to the bars. The bars are red, but you can see that the bars are starting to flip. And if the MACD gets across and we cross above the 200 and the LSMA moving averages here that I have in blue and pink or purple, if we can get both of those cross, then Injective is absolutely bullish, and we're going to see Injective push higher. And then again, we also have the downtrend to look at. So what we're looking for Injective is going to be a MACD cross coming up on the monthly, which will likely take place when the September monthly candle opens. That's my opinion. I think that when the September monthly candle opens, we could see that take place. We are resting above, on top of, barely, but resting above previous resistance on the monthly as well. Also a bullish sign for Injective. So we're looking at this as our wedge pattern for injective on the monthly. So a monthly wedge breakout. I mean, a monthly wedge breakout here. Yeah, we're going to keep it with the wedge. I like the wedge. And we're going to go ahead and speculate the possible measure move of the wedge and see where it gets us. Right there near $160 for injective. Now, how many of you guys that are holding injective or thinking about injective or researching injective believe that injective can reach that target? Now, you know, that's honestly, it's not, let's not rule that out, but let's also stay grounded here for injective and look at this resistance. So that's going to be at $80. So we're going to be looking at possibly $80 price level for injective, $75 to $80 here. Give or take, $75 to $80 is going to be resistance for injective on the monthly. So that is some serious, legitimate resistance on the monthly. I'm leaning more bullish than bearish on injective. I'm leaning more bullish than bearish on injective, in my opinion. Oh, sorry, I had to... All right. Shadow, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for joining us. We did go over everything. We did have somewhat hawkish outlook still. Really, it's more so neutral. Now, depending on how you look at it, it's honestly, it's more so neutral, in my opinion. So if you read it as neutral, expect chop until Powell speaks tomorrow at the Jackson Hole. So honestly, no major moves yet, I don't think. But if we see Ethereum, for example, hold 4,300, and if we see BTC hold 113 or 112K, those are good, strong, bullish support signs. I mean, if that support holds, and then the Jackson Hole speech tomorrow is somewhat dovish, then we can absolutely expect these breakouts to take place. Until then, though, until the Jackson Hole speech tomorrow, expect some chop and then max volatility coming very soon. Jackson Hole. Green fingers, I know. Boring. You're welcome, Shadow. Thank you for being here, man. Thank you all for being here. I hope that you guys are subscribed and definitely join the new Discord. We've got a brand new Discord. If the link is not in the description, I will post the link soon or in the next video or on wherever. It's all over the place. X, everywhere. You can find it. Pingu. Pudgy penguins. Sure. Let's look at Pingu real quick. Oh! Pingu. Pudgy penguins looking nasty on the monthly. That's the nastiest thing I've ever seen, man. Where did the meat go? Because the meat's gone, man. The butcher done came. The butcher done came and took the meat. Bro. Because oh wow. And the only reason I say that is because this looks terrible. Look at those monthly closes for Pingu. Look at the monthly candle closes, y'all. That's typically not a very good sign. Okay. What in the hell is this? That's not a good sign either. Homer said, what kind of music is this? It's typically not a good sign to see monthly candle closes, long-term candle closes lining up like this. You had some wicks above, but overall, the resistance, the major resistance, is at the candle closes, and that just looks nasty. Could we come back down here? Pingu, it's likely a possibility Pingu sees more downside. Honestly, I mean, you have a pretty nice gap here that you could fill. Could the rest of this month be bearish, leading into next month's possibly dovish outlook from the Fed? If so, it's okay. I mean, we're looking at, if we look at ETH, even ETH also on the daily, Ethereum is testing resistance on a rising channel. I mean, MACD on the daily, overbought. A lot of things do point to a continuation to the downside. A lot of things do point to that. However, I feel like if the Fed, if we have somewhat of a dovish ending to Jerome Powell and his Jackson Hole speech tomorrow, then maybe we won't need to retest support once more. Maybe we're ready for the breakout. All eyes on the Jackson Hole speech tomorrow. Avalanche, that's right. Now, Pingu. Again, Pingu just looks like it wants to come down. Nice gap here for Pingu between 3 cents and a penny, or 1.5 cents here. Previous resistance right here, breakout point. Could retest it. If the current support does not hold, I would expect Pingu to possibly come on down to retest this previous resistance for support. Only other place that I could possibly see Pingu resting for support is going to be from this previous support back here. If that holds, that's at about 0.0225. If that holds, we could get a bounce there. Now, AVAX. I'm not liking the way the charts look, guys. And some of these charts, we've got the only thing that is good here, I will say, is the higher low that we're putting in, right? That is a good sign. Four-hour MACD for Avalanche trying to cross. The 4-hour MACD down here trying to cross for AVAX. It is slightly in the oversold territory, but we could still go lower potentially. A pullback back down to test this uptrend. Again, if that breaks, we're going to go lower. We could come on down to $20 for AVAX, testing our support at $20. Let's see. Oh, really? I've already got too many indicators. Let me look at the Okay, so we could have possibly some divergence here. Let's look at it. We honestly, AVAX definitely got some, we have some possibly hidden bullish divergence. We have the price action here with a higher low. And we have the RSI here with the lower low. And if we pull up the divergence cheat sheet here, we can see that that would equal, that would be our hidden bullish divergence there. So AVAX with some possible hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Good thing to take note of there. Now, if there's hidden bullish divergence on AVAX, should we possibly take a look at the RSI for Bitcoin and Ethereum? Let's do that. AVAX showing signs of hidden bullish divergence, not so much here for Bitcoin, as you can see on the 4-hour. All right, guys. Well, that's been it for today. That's been a great stream. Honestly, we've had a wonderful stream today, and I cannot thank you guys enough. all of you that showed up, and all of you that smashed the like button, subscribed, and you disappeared to buy AVAX or poop. Neither. I had to pee. But again, I appreciate all of you guys. KTM Rider 420, I appreciate you. Alf, I appreciate you. Edgar, I appreciate you. All of you guys that have showed up today, commented, and engaged with the stream, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, seriously. It means a lot to me. I work very hard on this, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I've tried so hard to be consistent. And when I see support from you guys, it just means the world to me. Thank you guys. I hope that you all manifest your dreams. I hope that you all have a fantastic day. And keep your eyes on the charts. Keep your eyes peeled, because we are in some historically transformational times. And it feels good to be in crypto. It feels good to be a part of this movement. It feels good to be here. I appreciate you, Ty Stu. Again, thank you. Each and every one of you guys, have a good one. And I'll see you in the next one.